Tai-Ti by Alice Dunbar Nelson. Episode 2. The Secret at the End of the Track. A fight in the schoolyard. Poor Tai-Ti was in disgrace again. Still, in spite of his battered appearance, a severe scolding from the principal, lines to write, and a further punishment from his mother, Tai-Ti scarcely remained for his dinner, but was off down the railroad track with his pockets partly stuffed with the remnants of the scanty meal. And the next day, Tai-Ti was tardy again, and lunchless too in the next, until the teacher, in despair, sent a nicely printed note to his mother about him, which might have done some good had not Tai-Ti taken great pains to tear it up on the way home. One day it rained, whole buckets full of water that poured in torrents from a miserable, angry sky. Too wet a day for bits of boys to be trudging to school, so Tai-Ti's mother thought. So she kept him at home to watch the weather through the window, fretting and fuming like a regular storm in miniature. As the day wore on and the rain did not abate, his mother kept a strong watch upon him, for he tried many times to slip away. Dinner came and went, and the gray soddenness of the skies deepened into the blackness of coming night. Someone called Tai-Ti to go to bed, and Tai-Ti was nowhere to be found. Under the beds, in closets and corners, in such impossible places as the soap dish and water pitcher even, they searched, but he had gone as completely as if he had been spirited away. It was of no use to call up the neighbors. He had never been near their houses, they affirmed, so there was nothing to do but to go to the railroad track where Tai-Ti had been seen so often trudging in the shrill north wind. With lanterns and sticks and his little yellow dog, the rescuing party started down the track. The rain had ceased falling, but the wind blew a gale, scurrying great gray clouds over a fierce sky. It was not exactly dark, though in this part of the city there is neither gas nor electricity, and on such a night as this, neither moon nor stars dared show their faces in so gray a sky. But a sort of all-diffused luminosity was in the air, as though the sea of atmosphere was charged with an ethereal phosphorescence. Search as they did, there were no signs of Tai-Ti. The soft earth between the railroad ties crumbled between their feet without showing any small tracks or footprints. We may as well return," said the big brother. "He is not here." "Oh, mon Dieu," urged the mother. He is, I know it." So on they went, slipping on the wet earth, stumbling over the loose rocks, until a sudden wild yelp from Tiger brought them to a standstill. He had rushed ahead of them, and his voice could be heard in the distance, howling piteously. With a fresh impetus, the little muddy party hurried forward. Tiger's yelps could be heard plainer and plainer, mingled now with a muffled, plaintive little wail. After a while they found a pitiful little heap of sodden rags, lying at the foot of a mound of earth and stones thrown upon the side of the track. It was Titi with a broken leg, all wet and miserable and moaning. They picked him up tenderly and started to carry him home, but he cried and clung to the mother and begged not to go. "Ah, mon pauvre enfant, he has the fever," wailed the mother. No, it's my old man. He's hungry," sobbed Tai-Ti, holding out a little package. It was the remnants of his dinner, all wet and rain-washed. "What old man?" asked the big brother. "My old man. Oh, please don't go home till I see him. I'm not hurting much. I can go." So yielding to his whim, they carried him farther away, down the sides of the track, up to an embankment or levee by the sides of the Marigny Canal. Then the big brother, suddenly stopping, exclaimed, "Why, here's a cave. Is it Robinson Crusoe?" "It's my old man's cave," cried Tai-Ti. "Oh, please go in. Maybe he's dead." There cannot be much ceremony in entering a cave. There is but one thing to do: walk in. This they did, and holding up the lantern, beheld a weird sight. On a bed of straw and paper in one corner lay a withered, wizened, white-bearded old man with wide eyes staring at the unaccustomed light. In the other corner was an equally dilapidated cow. "It's my old man?" cried Tai-Ti, joyfully. "Oh, please, Grandpa, I couldn't get here today. It rained all morning, and when I ran away, I fell down and broke something, and oh, Grandpa, I'm all tired and hurting, and I'm so afraid you're hungry." So the secret of Tighty's jaunts down the railroad was out. In one of his trips around the swampland, he had discovered the old man exhausted from cold and hunger in the fields. Together they had found this cave, and Tighty had gathered the straw and paper that made the bed. Then a tramp cow, old and turned adrift too, had crept in and shared the damp dwelling. And thither Tighty had trudged twice a day, carrying his luncheon in the morning and his dinner in the afternoon. "There's a crown in heaven for that child," said the officer of charity to whom the case was referred. But as for Tighty, when the leg was well, he went his way as before.